fam? Today we got a video for you guys on deconditioning and loss of fitness. It is impulsive for us runners at home to have a common fear of, when we take a day off, we tend to over-exaggerate that we lost all our fitness. But believe it or not, there are certain time frames of when you lose fitness. In this video, we're going to talk about what happens when you decondition and lose fitness, what time frame would be considered a significant impact on performance, what can you do to maintain as much as you can during your time off if you can't run, and we're also going to talk about how to return to running after a certain amount of time off. Quick disclaimer, make sure you guys are cleared by your qualified healthcare provider before diving into any type of cross-training plan or plan to help you get back into the game quicker or running plan. If you guys like my videos, smash that like button, it really helps the video. Guys, comment down below your longest injury stent and what you did to maintain fitness. If you have to take one day off, you're not going to lose anything, literally nothing. Day 2, neuromuscular efficiency starts to decrease. For those at home, comment down below. Have you ever noticed that if you take more than one day off, specifically 2 days, that you feel a little off? Well, that's because muscle tension is decreased. Your brain knows how you're going to move when you run, but it's like, hey, you haven't ran, so we're not going to recruit as many muscle fibers and have a normal firing pattern when you usually run. So that's why you feel off. So for those at home that like to take days off before a race, I would advise that if you want to take a day off before a race, I suggest you take the day off 2 days before, and then the day before do a light run and strides. Do not take 2 days completely off leading into a race. I wouldn't even take the day off before, only because that's going to decrease muscle tension. I have a video on this subject. Around a few days or day 4, your blood volume starts to decrease on average of about 4 to 12%. When you have a decrease in blood volume, obviously your blood volume is less, so your heart is pumping less blood, so the cardiac output of your heart is going to decrease, which is obviously going to decrease performance. Now, loss of blood volume actually bounces back pretty quickly. You can probably mitigate the loss of blood volume by, doing some heat training and some light cross training. We'll get to cross training in a little bit. Day 5, according to Jack Daniels, your VO2 max starts to decrease. VO2 max is the milliliters of oxygen that a person can consume per kilogram of body weight within a minute. Now, for well-trained athletes, meaning you've been training consistently for several months, you can probably hold off to about 10 days before your VO2 max starts to decrease. Runners that are more of a beginner will actually lose fitness, or VO2 max will drop at a faster rate. You can maintain some of this, but you're still going to lose it regardless if you decide to cross-train, whether you swim or bike. If you're going to cross-train, I do talk about this in my cross-training video, make sure you do a movement that's very specific to the sport of running, because this channel is about running. So in that video, I talk about the hierarchies, use an Alter G, use the lever, aqua jog, anything that would mimic the motion of running as close as possible. Guys, remember the law of specificity. Your body adapts very specifically to the demands imposed on it. If you are injured and you're spending the time swimming, there is aerobic benefit, but there isn't as much neuromuscular coordination benefit than if you were to do something that is close to the act of running. Within 5 to 7 days, fitness loss is not really significant, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Around day 7, capillary density starts to decrease and oxidative enzymes also start to decrease. After about 7 days, like I said, it's not really significant. Your body just becomes less efficient at running. After 2 weeks off, which is a big thing, the biggest changes in the body are central capacity, such as cardiac output. Your heart is obviously not having the need to work as hard for all the things that we just talked about. VO2 max would tend to decrease on an average of about 6% after about 2 weeks. So for me, if I had a VO2 max of around 70 and I took 2 weeks completely off, no cross training, my VO2 max would drop to around 65.8, which would take me from a 1455 5K to about a 1543 5K, which is pretty significant. After about 2 weeks, there's a sharp decline in fitness up until about 2 months, but once you cross that 2-month mark, the loss of fitness tends to slow. It takes about 2.5 months to completely detrain if you were to do completely nothing of what you train for this training block or how long you've been training. Obviously, there are things such as genetic components and environment that can facilitate how your body returns to fitness gains and how it reaches fitness. This isn't necessarily a cookie cutter approach to regaining fitness or dealing with loss of fitness. You just have to pay attention to how your body responds to it. After 30 days, VO2 max drops by about 12%. After 9 weeks, it drops by about 19%. And after 11 weeks, it drops by about 25.7%. Now, I would say that anything up to 2 weeks is completely fine if you have to take time off, whether it's due to an injury or just planned time off, completely fine. It'll probably take about 1 to 3 weeks to get back to where you were. And obviously, you know how long a season is, that is no big deal. Like I said, there's a genetic component. I've known kids in high school that take the summer completely off and then they're back to where they were within a week or two of returning to the sport in the fall. Next, we're going to talk about how you can maintain fitness if you're able to run so many times per week. If you can do one hard workout once a week, that is running, you can maintain fitness for about up to 6 weeks. If you can do at least 2 hard sessions of running, you can maintain fitness for up to 15 weeks. Obviously, the days in between, I would do something that is as close to running as possible, such as lever unit, ultra G, aqua jogging. Shameless plug, link in the description down below. My coupon code for a lever running unit is now 10% instead of 5%, so check it out. You can have a volume reduction of up to 66% and still be able to maintain fitness for a good amount of time. Personal story, there was a point in time in my running career that I was hurt for 2 years. I had high hamstring tendinosis, and once I got out of that, I developed this like crazy knot/scar tissue that kept pulling on my tibia, and I kept getting shin splints no matter how hard I ran. I'll save that topic for another video, how I got rid of it. But for me to be able to withstand load, I was able to do 3 workouts a week in terms of trying to maintain fitness or even reaching new levels of fitness. 1 day a week was a VO2 max workout. The second workout of the week was a threshold workout, and the last workout of the week that my leg can withstand was a long run. The days in between were aqua jogging, because that's what I had at the time, to be as specific as possible. Now, I do have a separate video on cross training, and there's different aspects of volume. Like I said prior, it's close to running, but it's not exactly the same. So technically, you're still going to lose some fitness. But if all of a sudden, and assuming you don't hurt yourself, and obviously worked with a provider or a trainer in order for you to be able to do this, and it also depends on the injury. Like if you have a hip flexor injury, you don't want to aqua jog. But if all of a sudden, story here, I was out for about 2 weeks, and at the time, I had access to a pool. So I would mimic my workouts in the pool with aqua jogging by time. Then after about 2 weeks or so, when I got back onto the road to do tempo stuff, my tempo pace was exactly where it was relative to heart rate. So I actually maintained fitness, or may even slightly increase fitness because of the amount of work I decided to do in the pool. So it's not complete loss. You just have to have the mental strength, and I know it can be boring, to be able to grind through and do what you need to do to be the best you can be. It is easier to regain fitness than it is to reach it in the first place. Next, we're going to talk about how to return to running after time off from running. And this is also taken from Jack Daniel's running formula books. Now, returning is going to feel difficult. You're going to feel like you've lost a lot, but like we talked about before, if it's up to 2 weeks, you lost very little. If you take 0 to 5 days off from running, you can return to running at 100% of volume with strides. If you take up to 6 days off, completely off from running, you can do the first 3 days at 50% of the volume where you were, and the next 3 days at 75% of the volume. At 28 days off, completely off, the first 14 days would be about 50% of total volume, the next 14 days would be about 75, and then back up to 100. 29 plus days off, the first 9 days would be at about 33% of total original volume, the next 10 days at 50, and the following 10 days at 75% of total volume. 8 weeks off of running, completely off, no cross training, no nothing. The first 18 days, you're going to be at 33%. The next 19 days, you're going to be at 50%. And the 19 days after that, you're going to be at 75%. If you take 8 plus weeks off of running, you are going to start at 33. 3 weeks go by, 50, 3 weeks go by, 75, 3 weeks go by, 85, and 3 weeks go by, back up to 100. Jack Daniel's has us going this slow, so it allows everything to catch up so your body can adapt, right? Bone, muscle, tendon, ligament, all that stuff, so you don't hurt yourself and end up back to square one. The key to success in running is the consistency. If you don't have the consistency, which I was a victim of probably in college and high school, you're not going to reach your full potential in the time frame you should reach by the time you're in your mid-30s, when technically a person peaks in performance, but that's a topic for another video. You need to take your easy days easy and take your hard days hard relative to the effort of what those hard days planned for. It does not mean blow the workouts out of the water. With running, we want good adaptations. Doing all these hard runs all the time, it's going to lead to maladaptations and the possibility of hurting yourself and getting burnt out. That's all running is run, rest, relative rest, and repeat, and your body gets stronger. If you don't listen to your body, you will start to develop overtraining type symptoms, and that is a road you do not want to go down on. Now, obviously, if you're hurt or whatever, a few days off isn't going to kill you up to 2 weeks. To make it easier to understand when it comes to not taking days completely off or cross-training or running easy is the concept of variability of load, right? Volume, how much you're running, stress, how much stress you're putting on your legs, how's your turnover, how many pounds per square inch you're running when you're running fast or running really slow, frequency, how often are you doing it, are you doing doubles, are you running every day? After about 7 to 10 days off, you will also lose some muscle strength and coordination. Even if you cross-train, like swimming and stuff, because remember the law of specificity for the sport of running, you're still going to lose some. But after doing some light plyometrics, hills, and some strength training, your muscle coordination power will be back to where it was pretty quickly. All right, fam, and that's what happens when you detrain and don't run or don't do anything. To summarize, if you can, don't take longer than 2 weeks off. Don't worry if you do take longer than 2 weeks off, you get back to it pretty quickly. Obviously, life, injuries, and stuff get in the way, so don't fathom and be sad that you have to take time off. You'll come back stronger. So I can tell people, it is true. Sometimes the mental aspect can take time, more time than you think, and the body can heal. So you have to focus on both. You can't neglect one or the other. Both mental and physical aspects have to be addressed. If you guys like this video, smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're almost at 10,000 subs. When I get to 10,000 subs, I'm going to launch merch. I got the logos designed already. I'm ready to get spicy, and I'm ready to show the world what up fam is. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for when I post my next video. Catch you guys next time. Peace.